Radio Tatras International.
All right, down we go.
This is Radio Tatras International, Postcard from Poprad.
I think it's a bizarre idea.
Well, it doesn't sound broken.
We've had a bit of a rewind.
Ian, I've got something to say. I was waiting for my moment.
Lee and I have lots of fun when we do these funny little things that we do.
In all honesty, I don't get
It'd
it.
be like a menage a trois.
I'm actually sitting here in my scanties.
Now see what you've done, Rachel.
I've got to tell you, though, it's pretty hilarious.
Oh, right.
Absolutely not. It's because you mended the studio and you broke everything.
What an idiot.
RTI.
Yes, it's RTI Radio Tatras International with some imaging behind it. And I'm sorry, that's just a really bad in-joke for some numpty who thinks he's a radio person. Oh,
Me?
no, not you. Hello, Lee.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right. Are you on?
Am I what?
Are you? No, you're very far away from your microphone.
I'm not, I'm here.
Are you there? It must be me.
It is, it's you. It's always you.
Oh, you're loud now. Afternoon, Steve. He's in first.
Steve, man.
Steve's in first, as is Cass and Sugar.
Well, they can't all be at first.
Well, that's true. You sound very odd.
Thank you very much.
You do. You sound a bit weird.
That's because possibly I'm a bit... It's because you've messed about with my microphone thing.
Have I?
Yeah.
Ooh. It's not that one, is it?
I don't know, is that one?
No, it's not that one, is it? Let's turn you off.
Oh, no.
No, that's you off. And, you are a bit... for some reason, you've gone ever so loud.
Have I? That's
Yeah.
good, because I'm very noisy anyway.
Well, that is true. That is true. So we'll give you a bit more of that, a bit less of that, and we'll try again and say hello in a minute.
Right.
It's been weird all day today. Yeah. It's better that Lee thinks of himself as a radio presenter than thinking of himself as an electrician. That's true. That's very, very true.
That's a bit of a shock, Steve.
Yeah. Hello, Dave Rhodes. How are you? He says,
Hello, Mr. Rhodes.
I'm here. Dorothy's joined as well. Hello, Dorothy. How are you?
Hello, Dorothy.
Dorothy's our senior representative, keeping us in order, or trying to.
Who tells us off all the time about the fact that we don't like Mr. Corbyn.
Yeah, your microphone's on. That's better.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're all right now. Sorry about that, boys and girls. Dave Simpson says, morning.
Morning.
Wait, no, it's afternoon,
Well,
Dave.
somebody died.
I don't know. Could be. Could be something like that. Anyway, this is Eric Wiltshire and Lee Banks, just the two of us this week, because Rachel's out hobnobbing it.
She's having hobnobs. I thought she was going out for a meal.
Your microphone is atrocious today.
Well, give me another one then.
All right, okay, hold on a minute. Let's give you a different microphone.
All right, then.
It could be your voice, though.
Oh, thank you very much again.
It could.
Right, let's have a go at this one then. How's that?
That's better.
I'm asking you.
Oh,
Am I better now?
yeah, you're better now.
That means I've got to sit like this. I'll get rigor mortis.
Apparently we've got to leave Jezza alone. Why?
Jezza.
Why have we got to leave Jezza alone?
Does he have a bell on his bike, and is it called Jezebel?
Dorothy Senior, I thought she was young. Oh, you creep! You creep, Mr. Man. You're a definite creep. I've also got to say hello to Rocky. Hello, Rocky. And
Is that Rocky the Moose or Rocky the Bilbao?
I don't know really.
Rocky, which are you, a moose or a Bilbao?
And hello to Jeremiah Miller.
I like the name Jeremiah. Which
It's
I
a
was
nice
called
name, actually, isn't
Jeremiah,
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeremiah's a really, really nice name.
Jezemiah.
Yeah, now you're all quiet.
Oh, for God's sake, woman.
I'll have to turn you up a bit now.
Why don't you just try turning me on?
Yeah, right. There are limits to this, you see. I think, actually, Dorothy's just already... She
gone?
has. No. Steve's put a little note about Dorothy being the young person of the
Yeah.
group. She's liked it.
Oh.
Sounds like Lee's gain is a bit too high. It's him, Dave. Don't worry about
No,
it.
is it? Oh, if that's Dave Rose, it could be my gain that's too high.
Yeah, it could
my
be.
gain is your loss.
Oh, that is just so bad. That's nearly funny, actually. That's nearly technically funny.
Anyway, Steve, get your act because it looks like you've pulled.
Right. What's that? That sounds like Lee's going to have done that one. Steve had Lynn. Eric is a Tottenham supporter. Who's Lynn?
Tottenham?
Who's Lynn? I don't know who Lynn is.
Who's Tottenham?
What do you mean, who's Tottenham?
Well, you don't know who Lynn is.
Who's Tottenham? N17 Tottenham. You don't know who Tottenham is? What a numpty. What a numpty. Pro-leave. Who's pro... Hey, what?
Who's pro-leave?
Dave says pro-remain, pro-leave. What's that got to do with life? As too much bass, not enough treble. Right, okay.
Is that Dave Rhodes again?
Yeah.
He's very clever. He made you put egg boxes up on your window, didn't he?
He did a bit, actually, yeah. Well, yeah. He says you're too bassy now. So,
oh, wow.
So I'm giving you a little bit of treble.
I like a bit of bass.
Actually, that does sound better, Dave. You're right.
See, there you go, Dave. Yeah. Our studio is made out of egg boxes.
It's not.
It is.
Where?
Look, there.
That's foam.
And there.
Foam.
There.
Foam.
Yeah, but they're egg box foam.
No. Each panel is about €20 a sheet.
Oh, here we go. Did you pay for them all at once?
Yeah.
How much did that cost you?
Lots.
See, there it
really
is, yeah.
lots.
He
Really
admitted
bits.
this Wednesday that he is the tightest man in the world.
Apparently, Lynn is an old school friend of Steve who has just joined us. Well, hello, Lynn. Hello, Lynn.
Hello, Lynn. What's Tottenham?
Dave Simpson says, "What's your politics?"
Whose politics?
I don't know. We don't have politics.
No, we don't have politics, except we hate Jeremy Corbyn.
We hate every politician, really.
Well, we hate them all, really, yeah, but Jeremy Corbyn particularly.
Yeah.
Because he's a duffel-wearing Trotskyist knob.
That wasn't very nice about Jezza. He can't help it if nobody taught him how to get dressed properly.
He used to live round the corner from me, you know.
I know.
All right, then.
Yeah, well, like his parents did.
He lived with his parents, yeah.
And give the studio a rewire. Do you pay travel expenses? Pay anything, Dave.
He just told you he's the world's worst cheating type man.
Eric should be the next Tory leader. No. Listen, honestly, if I was the Prime Minister, half the country would leave in minutes.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't like the truth.
No. What can I say?
They wouldn't like the truth.
What can I say? Perfect.
It'd be both lots that would get both barrels. Some of the numpty business people and some of the numpty union people would both get both barrels from me. So nobody... I mean, I'd be hated beyond belief.
What, you'd shoot them?
Well, metaphorically.
Oh, right, just a metaphorical shooting.
Yes, just a metaphorical shooting.
While we're on about it, let's mention that lying, cheating, warmongering Tony Blair as well.
Why? Well, we're coming on to
just to wind.
Oh no, we're coming on to Alistair later anyway. So who cares?
Sorry, Dorothy, we're just winding you up.
Yeah, exactly. Before we do that, we've got to do some serious news because there's been a terrible boat capsize in Hungary, which is, as you may or may not know, that not far away from us.
We were there last year, actually. What a beautiful, beautiful place
it is. Budapest is just lovely. So I remember going down there to watch Deep Purple. Staying in the Crown Plaza. In the middle of the city. Spoilt. As not. Anyway, there's still... I don't want to suggest one way or another at the moment because there are various reports coming out about fatalities and also the fact that they are still looking for people. And I have to say, although it's not terribly warm here, the fact is that the water temperature there is not so bad, so people could survive a lot longer than you'd expect. But the South Korean Foreign Ministry have also confirmed that 7 of its citizens have died and 19 are missing. And they're working with the Hungarian people at the moment. And we will know more over the weekend, and we will give you an update from Magyar TV MTV in Budapest, who are kindly offering to help us get the news to you. Thank you, Tamas, for that. Very kind of you.
And also, it will be mentioned in CWF. Keep your eyes on the Facebook page.
Yeah, absolutely. He nicked the towels and the soap. Who did, David? David's replying to Steve. Did you claim that trip on expenses? What trip? What trip?
To Budapest.
He probably did, mate.
Well, he didn't go. You did. You went.
I know I went.
Yeah.
But I didn't claim it on expenses because I didn't have to pay for anything anyway.
See, so he didn't pay for anything, right? He's tight. Tight.
No,
Tight.
I got the PA at head office to do it for me.
Look, he's just showing off now as well. He's tight and showing off.
Just the way the system works. I phoned the then lovely Sonia, who booked the hotel, booked all the food, booked all the other bits, blah-de-blah-de-blah, and Martina and I went down to Budapest.
All right. Well, I'm going to Bratislava in a few weeks to go and see, I forgot his name.
I don't know.
That bloke with the girl's name, who's about 78 and long black hair.
Marion?
Yeah.
That's the bloke with the girl's name.
No, that bloke singer thing who sort of schools out for summer.
You mean Alice Cooper?
Alice Cooper, him.
Oh, right.
We're going to see him.
Yes, because he's playing at the football stadium, isn't he?
He's playing at the football stadium. Yeah, he's playing left back.
Hope you've got VIP tickets.
Of course I've got VIP tickets,
That's
and
right.
they've cost me nothing because I've not given Steve his money yet.
Oh, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. It's going to be one of those today, boys and girls. Anyway, we carry on back to the people who sadly passed. Is Baron Clement von Frankenstein.
Frankenstein is dead.
Yes, he is, apparently. He died of a heart attack at the age of 74. Oh, poor old boy. Lord Spicer, the senior Tory MP and former minister, who moved from the left of his party to the Eurosceptic right. He's died, and he was over 36 years serving as an MP for
Worcester.
Worcester, that's it. I mean, to give service to a country for that time is pretty amazing, to be
36
honest.
years.
Yeah, that's pretty good going.
Well, that's only because he kept getting voted back in and he was earning his, whatever it was, 60 odd
Yeah, but
thousand a year.
you're still working.
And he's a lord, so he's getting money for doing that bit as well.
Well, probably. Irene Sutcliffe.
Yeah, she's dead as well.
What I don't remember. Well, I don't remember half the Coronation Street people. Maggie Clegg.
Yeah, she was Maggie Clegg, and she was the woman.
You have to keep the microphone like that, dear. Otherwise, we can't hear you.
You just held my hand.
Hold it up even further.
You held my hand again.
Get it closer.
Now I'm licking it. It's like a big ice cream. No, she was married to the cross-dressing, whoever he was called, the cross-dresser in Coronation Street, and it caused a big furore at the time.
All right.
Yeah, but she's also appeared in Doc Martin as Janet.
Right.
She's been in Doctors. Yes, she's been in a Doctor.
Right.
As Joan Wolfe, and she played the King's mother in The Royals.
All right. We've got. Does Lee know who Alice Cooper is? He probably thinks.
I've been out with her.
Well, that makes sense because he's probably getting him confused with Judy Garland, which makes sense now. What you just said.
Well, actually, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, it was very clever, very good.
Very
yeah,
good indeed.
yeah.
Rob's joined us.
Hello, Rob. Who's Rob?
Our Rob.
Our Rob.
Yeah.
Are you not out canoodling and dining?
Well, this is what makes me wonder. Should I really drop Rachel in the cart and say...
No, we're not saying anything. Don't
Well,
tell her.
we're not going to tell Rob...
No, she's here, Rob. She's in studio, Rob.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell him that she's out having dinner with her friends.
She's out having dinner with her friends, Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to tell him that.
No, don't tell him.
No,
Did
don't
you
tell
know,
him.
Rob? Did you know?
No, he doesn't. Massive problem this weekend. And it is a bit of a public service announcement. There is going to be problems in Europe this weekend because of flights. Not because typically the French are on strike, which is their normal sort of thing. Rob says hello, guys. Sorry.
Hello, Rob.
Hello, Rob. It's all to do with a great football team called Tottenham Hotspur and some little club called Liverpool. I don't know.
Who are they?
I don't know. Anyway,
They're from Manchester, aren't they?
No, they're from Liverpool.
Liverpool's Manchester.
No.
Yeah, we took it over ages ago.
Oh, right, okay. Anyway, it's all to
Didn't
do.
we, Steve?
It's all to do with flights going to Madrid. Apparently, it's going to be the busiest day ever.
No, you can't have 9,000 flights going to Madrid. That's
9,000 people.
9,000 flights. Your story there says some 9,000 flights are predicted to take off.
Beating the all-time daily record of 8,854 set on the 25th of May last year. So there's going to be more flights, and this is going to cause a bit of problems.
This is boring.
Why?
Because it's boring.
No, it's not. It's for public service information.
Are you going to Madrid? Anybody out there going to Madrid? Then this is nothing to do with you.
No. What it means is that other flights in Europe may well be delayed because of all the flights going to Madrid.
Ooh.
So if you were flying to Central Europe, maybe, you might well have a delayed flight. That is the point of the story.
Why?
Because all the airspace is being taken up by these 9,000 flights.
Space is infinity.
No.
You can fit them in anywhere.
The poor Nats people could never keep up.
The Nats? Who's the Nats?
The National Aviation people. The
Well,
people that
you
do...
didn't say that. You just said Nats. They're little flies.
Air traffic controller.
They're Nats, are they?
Yeah. You worry, don't you?
It's because it says it on the story. He's just read it out, that's why.
Has Poprad ordered extra Burt for tomorrow night? I think he
Burt?
means beer. Yeah, I think Steve Mann's beer. Rob says, just found out, okay? and Steve's obviously got his keyboard upside down because he's written Liverpool 3, Tottenham 1, which I think he means Tottenham 3, Liverpool 1. But anyway, that was an attempt by my good self to make a public service information comment here.
But it was boring.
But if people want to travel, they should know about the possible delays.
Hey, you know, if you're going to get on a plane, you know
Yes.
you're going to be treated like cattle. You're going to have to walk up and down inside a pen for hours.
Yeah, and
then you're going to get
and they're also
insulted.
going to teach you how to hold the microphone to your mouth.
And then you'd have to take your clothes off in front of everybody. And then you have to take your belt off. And then they put you inside a machine. And then they empty your bags. And then your plane's cancelled. So everybody knows that's not a public service. It's
No, that's
just a
true.
confirmation.
Yeah, right, okay. Anyway, it is a public service information.
No, it
comment.
isn't.
It is. So you could, if you're going on holiday tomorrow, there might be delays. Not saying there will
But
be.
there might not be.
Or there might not be. But just in case you do know, get there on time. But, do be prepared for a little wait because these, well, what they're claiming is the biggest day of the...
You know how many more flights there are than normal?
Go on.
300.
That's a lot.
It isn't a lot. And if there's 9,000 a day going out and another 300 shouldn't even be noticed.
It will.
Only because you think it's interesting.
No, because I know what it's like when you're doing a flight plan
Oh, here we go. When he was a pilot.
at Simpson Aerodrome. Hello. Hello.
Dorothy used to be in the Simpson Amateur Dramatic Society.
I have flown a Cessna. Well, actually, it's only a Cessna 150. One engine at the front.
I flown a microlight.
What, you flown a microlight?
Of course I have flown a microlight.
Oh, no, I wouldn't.
Brilliant, man.
I wouldn't fly one of them.
Yeah, no, it's engine packed in.
They got no bottom on them.
They haven't got a bottom on them.
They haven't.
They have a little, well, they have wheels, so that's the bottom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They haven't got a
No,
proper
it's
bottom.
brilliant. I flew across Ibiza.
Rather you than me,
It was brilliant. Nobody's like trying to shoot me down or anything.
didn't they?
No.
Oh, that's a miracle.
It was brilliant. Most brilliant thing I've ever done apart from parascending.
Parascending.
Yeah, I've been parascending as well.
I don't fancy that either.
Parascending's brilliant. It's like whitewater rafting, which is really my greatest physical passion, apart from drinking and other things.
Uh-huh.
Because it is complete abandonment. Once you've jumped out of that plane, there isn't a lot you can do about
No,
it.
there's a funny stuff. Where the Dickens were we? It was up in not Hull, but somewhere up there. And
Sheffield.
do you know what? It could have been.
Huddersfield.
You could be right with Sheffield because my licence had lapsed. From
Your,
flying.
which licence? Well, you were out on licence.
No, flying an aeroplane because I wasn't able to do 40 hours all the time, and then I got asthma, so they took it away from me anyway. But I was still allowed to go on these pleasure flights, the blood run flights as they call them.
Yeah.
And I was being all very good, and I thought, do I tell him that I've flown before, the instructor, or not? And I thought, no, because I haven't flown for like years, so I'm just going to chicken out. So we get to the thing. He says, right, if you can call into the control tower to give them, that's the call sign written there, and how they got it written out like golf. Da 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 da. So I just reads it out normally. He says, you know the phonetic alphabet. I said, oh yeah, I'm a radio ham. And he went, okay. So then I made the big mistake. We take off, get to the top, and he says, I'm going to say You have
Excuse me.
control. You answer. I have control. Da-di-da-di-da. So I said, okay. And the trouble was, he said, you have control. And I said, I have control. In a way that only a pilot would.
Yes.
And he said, you've flown before, haven't you?
Did he?
So I said, yes. And he said, have you ever flown a Cessna 250 before? I said, no.
Well, you were in a Cessna 150.
Before. So I went
This is a
250.
new one.
Yeah, new one. 2 engines, not one. So he goes, and banks it hard to the right. I'm going, it was not nice.
I have
Yes.
flown in an army helicopter
Yes.
out on patrol over a war zone, and do you know what they did?
What?
They sat me next to the open door.
Well, I can figure that, so they throw you out.
I know, that's what I thought. Anyway, so, yeah.
Eric flying a plane. Oh, my God, I hate flying more so now. I was good at pilot.
I was brilliant at being a pilot as well.
Helicopter's hard work.
You don't want to fly a helicopter. When I flew an helicopter.
Did you?
No, I'm being you.
I did at Milton Keynes. Honestly, that was the best press trip I've ever had. Honest. Can you imagine? What's it called? Milton Keynes, where the old
Not helping you out.
where the old Vauxhall test track is, the bowl thingy.
Yeah, that one.
When they launched Animal Planet, they decided that because it was a bit more macho as a channel, they take all the boys up to one of these days out where you raced a rally car. In fact, Dave Rhodes edited the programme that I rushed back from Milton Keynes to London with on the same day, of me driving round an Alpine track, not real one, it's just made up, in a Porsche 911, and then you got to fly a helicopter as well.
Right. Now, this is a true story. I once flew, a golf buggy.
You flew a golf buggy.
I flew a golf buggy. I had been invited
Did
by...
you crash off the end of the pier?
I had been invited by Henry Cooper, that splash it all over bloke, yeah? Right, I'd been invited to his golf club in Mirafiori, I think it was called, in Portugal, and he had some golf buddies outside, and all the very drunken press people, including me, nicked the golf buggies. I was flat. God, it's amazing how fast they go, you know. And I was going around a left-hand bend, but I was going that fast that I was treated like a motorbike. I was about to stick my leg out to the side to keep it stuck. And anyway, I couldn't get it round the corner, so I went through a bush, and there was a 15-foot drop on the other side.
So you flew?
I flew that golf buggy for at least 3 seconds before a crash. Yeah.
Do you know why there was a number 7 on Splash It All Over?
7?
On the Brute bottle.
No.
Do you not know?
No.
He knows nothing. Because of Barry Sheen.
What, he was 7?
He was number 7 on his motorbike.
What's that got to do with Barry Sheen? It was Henry Cooper.
It was Henry Cooper and Barry Sheen that did the Splash It All Over advert.
Was actually, yeah.
Yes, and Barry Sheen's motorcycle number was number 7.
Well, what did Henry Cooper have on it?
He didn't, because he didn't have a number when you're boxing.
You do, you have one on your shorts.
Hello, Eric and Lee. This is Stephen James.
Hello,
have
James.
noticed that aircraft pilots seem to play a lot of golf whilst flying their aircraft. Is this safe? Well, if it's on if it's on a tablet, yeah, I nearly said the I word. If it's on a tablet, yeah, that'd be all right. On your phone. Oh no, you can't have your phone on, can you?
Why do pilots only really fly at the beginning and the end, don't they?
Yes.
They don't fly in the middle.
No.
So really, why do we have to pay them for the whole journey?
In case the computer crashes.
Well, it's more important if the plane crashes.
No, in case the computer crashes, therefore they take over, then the plane doesn't crash.
Doesn't always happen though, does it?
Not always. Mm-hmm. But they can actually do it all the way across. They are allowed to. What?
What, who?
I can't even say what Dave's written. It doesn't make any sense. Do you fly as well as Gary Newman does? Now, there's a thing.
Who's that? That's really good.
Steve. Do you fly as well as Gary Newman does?
That's terrible.
Cars.
Really,
No, actually, Gary Newman's a nice guy.
Don't you wish Jeremy Corbyn was a pilot?
Where is this going?
I'm not going anywhere with it, really, because it would have been really bad if it had said it, wouldn't it?
Would be really bad. Yeah, you can always, Steve, you can always tell if Gary Newman's coming to your house because there will be a V8 engine burbling outside, and he's one of his big American cars. He only drives American cars. Blah, 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 blah,
Like
blah,
me.
blah. Yours is an American car pretending to be British, made by a German-owned company.
No, Fiat owned it.
Well, they do now.
So it's Italian design. It's a designer car.
Oh, dear.
So we do university fees now.
Why?
Oh, no, carry on. I was enjoying it. I was just wondering if anybody else was.
Oh, okay. Apparently, university tuition fees should be cut to $7,500. Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, it's a really interesting story, isn't it?
If I want to go back to school now, I have to pay.
Yeah, but that's because you're incredibly old and it'd be a waste of money educating you any further.
Ah!
Now, but listen, this
What?
this is a really important story, as far as I'm concerned, anyway. Right, here we go. Right, first of all, through taxes, don't mean like those that pull up outside your house, those things that you have to pay to the government. We pay for education.
No.
Yes, we do.
No, we
Yes,
pay
do.
for standard education.
We pay for education.
Not advanced.
That doesn't make any difference. We pay for education. It was only a decision about 15 years ago to charge for extra education. Now, what actually happens is that people who go and become educated and get an ology or whatever
Can't get a job.
can't get a job because an ology is completely worthless.
True.
But what they do get instead of a job is a debt of up to £80,000.
Tough luck.
Well, it isn't tough luck, is it?
Well, they must have known that before they started.
Well, yeah, but that's the indoctrination, isn't it? That's the indoctrination of the system. Go to university, get an ology, and you will get an incredibly good job paying lots of money.
Don't listen to
Don't
them.
listen. No, I agree with you. Don't listen to
Listen
because
to
it's
us.
a lie.
You
It's
should get
lie.
a trade.
Actually, that's a very, very good point, and it wouldn't cost you 80 grand to go and do it.
No.
Yeah.
You're talking, as an adult student, you can probably get, as long as you work hard, you can probably get trained to NVQ for about 8 grand.
Yeah.
If you're younger, say 16, 17, you can still get apprenticeships where you get a lower wage, but the company pays for all your training.
Yeah.
So for a lot less than what you would pay to go to university, you can earn more than most university graduates who work in McDonald's.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. If you go to university and get an ology, you can probably get a 0 hours contract in McDonald's earning you whatever it is, £6-7 an hour, right? If you go into a trade, you will be earning about a minimum of about £35,000 a year.
That's a start rate, actually, yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
And you can go up to £80,000. You can start your own business.
Yep.
But what happens through these university fees is that people don't want to pay them back quite right because they got nothing for them in the first place.
Yeah.
So what they do
They go bust.
well, no, what they do, they stay in low-paid jobs for the rest of their lives. Now, that has a knock-on effect because we've got a big debt that they can't afford to get a mortgage for a house, which means basically they can't afford to get married and have children and have a car, go on holiday, and everything that they were promised through university fees. It is disgusting. It's an American idea that I believe, now I should be wrong here, I'm sure it was the Tory government who adopted it in the first place, but the Labour government, particularly under the watch of Tony Blair, perpetuated it, and it has been one of the major downfalls of this country. And now they're saying... Not this country, no. The UK country.
Thank you.
And, and the call is now for them to cut the fees to about £7,500, and that means you will only have this debt, and this is fact, this is true, that you will probably only have that debt until you're into your late 60s.
Whatever. Back to the messages. Originally an airfield constructed for use during World War II, Bruntingthorpe Proving Ground is now one of the largest privately owned vehicle testing tracks in the UK. There you go. That's where we went.
Is that Mr. Rhodes?
Yeah, he knows all about this sort of stuff. We used to go down to Liverpool Airport.
I've been there.
He was flying in for a concert.
I did a skid panning there.
Did you? Apparently, it caused 2 emergency landings.
What did?
I don't know. And also, Steve says, what about a radioology? People could become DJs with them. Yeah, right.
There was a course for that, wasn't there, at one stage?
There still is.
Yeah,
Steve.
yeah.
There is, in fact, Bruno Brooks used to run, the late Bruno Brooks, isn't he? He used to run...
Why, is he supposed to be coming in?
A radio school, and I laughed.
Oh, did you? I laughed.
I laughed. I did. I laughed. I did. As I was walking down the street one day, I saw a house on fire. I'm not going to go any further with that one.
There is, of course, now may I say this, there, of course, are media courses which take in radio and broadcasting.
And they're worthless as well.
I was just about to say, as a journalist of some long-standing and who's worked on major newspapers throughout the country, etc., I would say, do not take a media course. It will waste your money and waste your life.
And I'm not being funny. I mean, us two sitting here and blather on every week, and some people just couldn't do it.
You see how handsome I am in profile?
No, and. The bottom line is, some people are brilliant at doing certain jobs.
Yes.
Some people do radio. I couldn't cut a piece of wood straight if my life depended on it. Every time I get a saw out and cut a piece of wood, it goes wonky. I don't know why. It just does. So it does. But I can blather away on here for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, you can.
And it's fine. So you can't actually teach radio.
No.
It's impossible. You either can do it or you can't do it.
That's right.
I mean, we've had, Lee will verify this, we've had guests in here who honestly, they are soaked when they come out of here because of the stress levels. And a couple of times we've had people in there, their hands, they can't even hold a cup of coffee because their hands are shaking so much.
Yeah.
But that's just what we do. It's nothing spectacular. We do some things, people do others. Do you need a degree to become a journalist? No.
No. Definitely not.
No, definitely not. In fact, I think it's actually a negative thing, to be honest.
We actually, the industry started to take on people with degrees and refused to take anybody else on for quite a period in the 90s.
Then they woke up.
Yeah, it was a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
Because you've got to have a bit of chutzpah and understand the streets. What you need to do, there is somebody who is now fallen out with me because he claimed to be a journalist and he wasn't. He had no qualifications. He actually had no skill and no talent. But he...
Oh, that bloke who had that blog page.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
So funny.
And but what you need to do, you used to have a minimum of 3 O levels or whatever the equivalent is now. You need to go and take the National Council for the Training of Journalists course, which teaches you about law, teaches you about local government, teaches you about libel, teaches you about newspaper construction, teaches you about broadcast, teaches you about everything. That's the NCTJ. If you genuinely want to be a writer in your future, go and take that course because everybody will respect that as a qualification. Nobody will respect you.
We welcome Alex, who's a first-time listener.
Hello, Alex.
Because it said so on my screen. My screen's very clever like that.
It is. It's very clever.
Very clever. Bruno Brooks is still alive. It was the other one then, Dave, that did the school. I can't remember. Somebody did a... I just think they're all a bit bonkers. In commercial radio today, if you can drive a computer, you can be a DJ. You don't have to do anything. It's all done for you. So it's not real DJing. If you're a club DJ, it's totally different. If you're doing talk radio, that again is very different. And then you get to some of the idiotic messages I've seen this morning from a community radio station, which I won't mention.
What's it called?
I'm not telling you. Because this bloke said, oh, you can't make a trail like that because it's got station imaging on it. And I thought, what a numpty.
Can I just ask a question?
What?
Why is the media... Why are there now so many pretend media people in the world?
They're disappearing. Good news.
Well, I hope they are, really, yeah. Like the one we were talking about who was pretending to be a journalist and actually starting to interfere in people's lives and get everything wrong, which is why I took him to task.
The longer this is an absolute fact, boys and girls, the longer services like ours stay on, the more other people... I mean, we have been blamed... Get this. We have been blamed by a radio station that closed down because we stole all their listeners. How can we steal their listeners? That's impossible.
Well, yeah, we went out and made them come to us.
Yeah, we went out with a gun and sort of pointed it to their head or something.
Yeah.
We can't steal... This guy was adamant he was closing down because RTI had stolen his listeners. We can't do that. It's impossible. The only reason for closing down, chap, and you know you are, and you're probably listening right now, I don't care.
Is it who I think it is?
No, this is about a year and a half ago. He was really angry with me for some bizarre reason. And I kept saying, well, it's not me, Governor. It's all the great blokes we have. Mike Smith, that's the one who did it in 2014. You're right, Dave. He had a rubbish radio station.
Yeah.
Therefore, nobody listened.
Can I just tell a quick story on my basis of that?
I just finished. And what happened was a couple of the people that were on his station said, oh, this is rubbish, nobody's listening. So they asked to come on to RTI. And at that time, we did have slots. And they came on, and instantly they had listeners. In fact, one of the guys said, oh, wow, I've never had so many inquiries to my website, which I thought was quite nice. And this bloke, that's the reason why this bloke got the arse with me. Ridiculous.
On the same basis, now, these are things that purport to be newspapers. Again, I'm not going to name them. I'm not going to name the bloke involved, but this has happened yesterday and today. A chap had a story published in a newspaper which actually in its own country is quite influential, apparently. And the story is that he has had his children stolen off him, right? That he fears that they have been murdered by the mother, right? He can't find them. Can they please help him? The mother is also acting like a prostitute, that she has stolen probably hundreds of thousands of pounds off him, and he needs help to find the children because he's worried for their safety and they might have been murdered.
Is this a bogus story, methinks?
Well, when I read it, after for some reason being a good journalist, I thought this isn't true. So I checked it out. The stupid thing is, the man had got pictures of him with his children today and yesterday and the day before, literally on his Facebook account. Now, what an idiotic publication it is that went and published that story. They named his wife, therefore they've libelled his wife. They've accused her of being a murderer, a thief, a prostitute, and everything else. And all they had to do was go and check the bloke's Facebook account.
Ridiculous. A driver in Germany may have the Holy Spirit to thank for avoiding a speeding ticket, because in Germany, rather like the UK as well, they need a picture of you to prove who was driving, to therefore give the fine to.
Aye.
As the camera flashed, a dove, a dove with its wings spread, flew just in front of this guy's face, and the camera got a picture of the car and a dove. And because of it, he got away with €105 fine. The police have found it very funny. They've associated the car, obviously, but they saw the fun side of it and said they thought the Holy Spirit must be there with him, which I thought was absolutely fabulous. The UK's longest-serving MEP has warned Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn needs to stop trying to ride two horses, his quote, over Brexit and pick a clearer position. David Martin has been a member of the European Parliament for 35 years, but lost his Scottish seat at the 23rd of May poll after the Labour vote collapsed. He's not on his own by saying that there's a lot more people that need to actually, say what they mean.
The reason is, though, because Mr. Corbyn doesn't actually have any decision or any mandate or anything about leaving the EU. He doesn't know which way to go. He's never had that because he never thought he'd end up in the position.
That's right.
To make
and just to make things clear, both of the what are called major parties in the UK received a huge slap in the face from voters.
They did.
And the brand new Brexit party, which is like about 6 weeks old, I think, gained the largest overall vote. And don't anybody tell me that because we had the votes up this way, that way, and that way, it means that they didn't win. They won. They had the biggest amount of votes for a single party. Therefore, they are the winners.
Yeah. Tragic as it is.
Yeah, you're right there, Steve. Going back to our story about the bogus reports, was it in the same paper that claimed Elvis was alive? No, that was Lee Banks that wrote that story.
I actually was there when that story was written. Yeah, Elvis has been... We claimed Elvis was alive last week, actually. And I think it was the Daily Mail who did it. We're always finding Elvises, and the thing is, it's not the newspapers who make it up, Steve. It just isn't. What happens is that somebody comes to a newspaper with a picture of a bloke who looks like Elvis in his dotage, and says, "This is Elvis. We found him." So for a laugh, you see what it is? It's a joke. It's funny. We say it's like when I was there at the Daily Star, and we found a double-decker bus on the moon. It was a joke. We didn't mean there was a double-decker bus on the moon. It was a joke.
There you go. This is quite an interesting little story from our Dave, who does seem to get around a lot. It has to be said. And he's replying to Steve saying, Piers Morgan, I like Piers.
I like Piers Morgan.
Gets a lot of flack, but it is just an act. Aww. I thought he was really like that.
He is a bit like that. I know. I work for him on The Sun.
Yeah,
and he is very much like that.
I was at the recording of Life Stories, you lucky boy, the other week for ITV, and he ran a 3-hour interview with my buddy Alan Sugar. And at the very end, he only had to do a couple of reshoots on questions. Dave was impressed. How they're going to cut it down to a commercial hour, Dave has no idea.
Well, editing.
And he's in editing anyway. But it was fascinating. And I think you're right. And the other thing that's kind of you've prompted me to think of, Dave, is too many of the politicians that are out there don't realise that we don't live in the 1950s anymore.
Absolutely.
We are far more switched on as voters than ever before. So when they give us brown smelly stuff in our boots and expect us to believe it, it's not going to happen anymore. It's over. In fact, this year is one of the major changes to politics that there will ever be. Yeah. And added to that, if you look at as I was, the European vote across the whole of the EU, the Parliament has changed dramatically. The two presidents who are currently in charge and supported by Parliament will not have that support when the new Parliament convenes. And so the left haven't got control, the right haven't got control. It's a lot more central going forward. Did I not predict this?
I think you did, Doc.
Thank you, darling. So there you go. So Freddie Star didn't eat a hamster. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. It was Max Clifford made it up with Freddie Star as a joke. As a joke.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly, sometimes it just is. You see, what it is, let me just run through this very, very briefly for you. If you look at the top of every newspaper, every single newspaper, not in the UK, in the world virtually, it says celebrity, sport, entertainment, and news. News always comes at the end because it's tabloid journalism. Tabloid journalism is about celebrity, about entertainment, about sport, and then news. What we actually do is cover news very, very well when we have a story to cover. And I blame newspapers for allowing people like Steve Mann to forget what newspapers are about. There are other news sources you can go to that if you don't want entertainment, but the BBC does entertainment. And the reason we do it, is because the majority of people, like Eric, well, no, I'm not interested in celebrity. Of course you are. Everybody's interested in celebrity because that's what you watch all night on your telly.
No, if there's a review of my programming, then obviously I'd read that, yes. I like criticism ones. I prefer them.
Yeah, I do as well.
Yeah, the ones where they go, I hate you. And I go, oh, great. Cool. Apparently 5G's finally got itself into the UK. It's all a bit of a pointless thing, to be quite honest, boys and girls, because nobody's bothered to say one simple thing.
What?
Thank you for asking. 5G's great,
Why?
but
It doesn't work.
no, well, it can work.
It can work, but it doesn't.
But if the server on the other end is slower, 5G's not going to improve over 4G.
right. Yeah,
It ain't going to get any better. It's whatever the weakest link is in the chain of events on the internet. And at the moment, there are so many servers that run incredibly slowly, and, you know, you won't get a great deal out of it at the minute. It's like a lot of these things. Don't go there just yet.
Yeah, just hang on a bit.
Just hang on a minute. Which
Is 5G going to cause the next World War?
No.
I didn't think so either.
No, you're going to have to learn to talk into that microphone. We can't
I
hear
don't
you.
want this microphone. I was actually having a bit of a problem with talking at that moment.
Were you really?
Yes, I'm telling you what was happening.
Poor boy. Boris Johnson's getting loads of free publicity, and some of the headlines are wrong.
Why?
End of story.
Why?
They're doing this thing. Boris Johnson's been taken to court. Yes,
Yeah.
in a private prosecution, not a police one.
No, that's right. Well, what's wrong with that? He's being taken to court. How can you say that's the wrong headline? Has Boris Johnson been taken to court?
As a private prosecution.
Well, what's the difference?
Well,
Is he going to court?
There's no value in the private
Is he
prosecution.
going to court?
Yes, he's going to visit it.
He's going
Will
to
he
court.
go to prison with it?
Is
No.
he going to answer allegations?
Yeah, yes.
Is a judge going to preside and make a decision?
If the person pays enough money, yes.
350.
No. If the other person can foot the bill.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is a pointless campaign against Boris Johnson,
Thank you.
and it really is. Whether you see, it's based on is the fact that apparently Boris Johnson lied about the EU taking 350 million a week off us,
Yep.
and it was on the side of his campaign bus. Now,
It wasn't his bus anyway.
well, it wasn't. It was on the side of a campaign bus. But the thing is, what we have to remember is that it wasn't only Boris Johnson. Everybody says it was Boris Johnson. Everybody else was saying the same thing as well.
No. On one side, no, I'm going to challenge you here because
Okay.
on one side they were saying we're going to get all this money back. On the other side, they said we're going to lose all this money.
Yeah.
So both sides told porkies.
Well, they didn't tell porkies because nobody really knew what the circumstances were.
You can't. It's
And-
impossible.
And it was based on figures that turned out to be fallacious. Right? The figures didn't actually...
Does that mean wrong?
It doesn't mean what you think it means.
Does that mean wrong?
It's not like a patio with
That's
a
right.
fail on the front. And it's they actually... Everybody used those figures, but because Boris is a bit of a buffoon, and a lot of people don't like him, and he's got very big biffers, you know, for a gentleman, people really object to him, and so this idiot has taken him to court, spending a fortune doing it.
What a
So,
waste of time.
Yeah, right.
Total waste of time. Steve just said they said the same about 4G, referring back to my comments about 5. Yes, absolutely, Steve. In the beginning, there was no point whatsoever.
In the beginning, there was
you
nothing.
just have to wait. Go slowly.
Yeah, go slowly.
Yes, I agree, Dave. Politicians lie. Shock horror.
Yeah, I know. No, that Jeremy Corbyn lies, you know.
Lee, question for you. If a celebrity sues,
Yeah.
is that a private or a public prosecution? Private.
Well, it's private prosecution,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not-
it depends. It
It
really
can be-
depends.
It
but,
can
yeah.
be in the public domain,
Yeah,
but it doesn't make it a criminal offence.
No,
it's a civil offence.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. It depends if it's a civil offence.
Yeah.
May I also point out, while this is being brought up, that actually, do you know that there are only 3 celebrities who have actually sued the press in the last 10 years and got away with it?
That's true. Yeah. Gary Pritchard says, "Hi,
Hello,
Eric.
Gary.
Could you say hi to Wendy Mills, who knows you?" Hello, Wendy Mills. I know Wendy Mills.
Wendy Mills?
No, Wendy.
Wendy.
Say hello to Wendy near the microphone.
Wendy, are you near the microphone? Because I'm going to say hello to you. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Wendy.
Hello, Wendy. Mwah.
Mwah. We
Mwah.
love you, Wendy. Mwah.
Mwah, mwah.
Yeah, kisses on the bottom. Mwah,
yeah.
mwah, mwah.
Excuse me.
What?
That was rather personal, dear.
What?
Kisses on the derriere.
You didn't say that, did you?
You did. You said naughty words. Well, suggestions. Oh, blimey, the hour's nearly gone already. The Brexit shutdown slashes UK car production. No.
Don't care.
No, it doesn't actually work like that. There is a massive reduction in car sales. Apart from electric cars, especially in Germany, where the electric cars are taking over like rockets.
Yeah.
But
Not like rockets at all, more like tortoises.
No, some of them are really fast now.
Yeah, but not unless you're paying millions of pounds for them.
Yeah,
you're buying a Tesla.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, we're going to do a quick big up the teams.
Big up the team.
For the UK, because we're constantly negative about it. I don't know if anybody saw it on the telly. It was a fantastic catch from Ben Stokes. And Geoffrey Archer. They lit up the Oval yesterday.
Is that rugby?
Cricket.
Cricket.
To ensure England defeated South Africa and got their World Cup campaign off to a winning start.
Did you get a World Cup in? I thought it was football.
They have a World Cup in cricket as well.
Is there?
And Ben Stokes was kind of running
Who's
back.
Ben Stokes?
There's just no hope, is there? Anyway, so Ben Stokes did really well. He also got a couple of wickets at the end, which is kind of cool.
He got a couple of what?
Wickets.
In his end?
Yes.
Right.
Also, Lewis Hamilton.
Who's he?
He won the Monaco Formula 1 Grand Prix.
The monochrome, yeah.
The Monaco Grand Prix, which is really hard to do. What may I say for good news articles? The Consumer Watch Foundation is great.
Who's that? I love you, whoever you are. You're
Duke.
Duke, I love you, Duke. You're wonderful. He's on our shows. He's on our shows now.
Right,
he's
Steve.
a DG.
You're right, Steve.
A DJ, I mean.
He says, shush, don't say that, or Lee's head will explode.
No, it won't. It'll just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's true. And, of course, tomorrow, Spurs will win the Champions League, making Liverpool the runners-up. But the important series, both the Europa League, which Chelsea won against Arsenal, which is the lower league, and the Champions League, which is the top one, all four teams, British.
I think it's really good since Liverpool became a suburb of Manchester. It's been really good for them to have their own team.
Oh, dear. Liverpool's become a suburb of Manchester. You're going to get death mail now.
You can't get me. I'm somewhere else in the world.
Well, that's very true. Now even McDonald's could be joining the veggie trend, as some of the senior people at McDonald's are thinking of bringing meat-free Big Macs. Well, that doesn't really make a lot of difference. And quarter pounders. This is according.
You could get sued for saying that.
Well, they don't taste meaty to me.
What they do? They've got loads of meat in them.
They probably have.
It's lovely. I love Big Macs. I love you, Big Mac.
But you're a veggie.
I know. I'm a vegetarian. I say this all the time. Most people have heard it. I am a vegetarian, apart from McDonald's and kebabs.
You've always been a kebab junkie, though, haven't you?
I love kebabs. You know, what I'm doing, there's a kebab shop in the centre of Poprad. In fact, I'll name it. It's called Kebabbings because the other one's crap. And I very often now buy a kebab the night before, stick it in the fridge and have it for lunch the next day.
It's like, kebab for breakfast is brilliant.
Lunchtime, yeah. Well, yeah.
No, I think this is all a phase, all a fad. It
isn't.
It's going to be like, look, it's like one day everybody came out and said, you must drink red wine for your health, for your heart. A few years later, oh no, you mustn't drink red wine, it's bad for you.
No, it's
now
not
it's all back in. It's a fad.
No,
it's a fad.
Look, we have a new writer from Poprad called Moira,
yeah,
who is writing about veganism on the Consumer Watch Foundation. She's giving vegan recipes. There's nothing wrong with it. They're beautiful recipes. The first one is in this week. Go and have a look at it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Dracula used to like steaks through the heart. And you put me off, so I can't carry on. Good. Yeah, and she's writing. And what she says is that she personally doesn't want animals to die so that she gets fed. That's a personal decision. She's not shoving it down your throat or anything. She's actually just being straightforward and honest.
There are four things in this world.
Yeah.
Veggies.
Yeah.
Meat.
Yeah.
Chicken. And pork. They're not the same. None of them are the same. There's only one meat on the planet.
Yeah.
Beef.
There is an argument about veganism, and I think this is how to put it in a simple note. If God didn't want you to eat meat, then why... Oh, no, I've said that wrong.
Yeah, why did he teach us how to light a fire to cook it?
No. If God didn't mean you to eat animals, why did he make them out of food?
Yes, right, okay. We move on. I've got to do this question. This topic, because I so agree with John Cleese's tweet. I get it.
I agree with it.
John Cleese has caused a bit of eruption on the social media network of Twitter by saying London is not really an English city. And I agree with him. Yeah. I totally agree. There's nothing racist. Bratislava is not typical of Slovakia.
No.
Paris is not typical of France.
No.
Washington is definitely not typical, because most people think New York's the capital. Washington is not typical of somewhere in Texas. It's the same with any capital city in the world. In fact, half the time you'll hear more English spoken in Bratislava than you will in London.
It's true.
Because there's so many tourists there. It makes sense.
But I suppose the reason behind it being construed as being racist is because he said it and said that because of that, I'm going to go and move somewhere else. Now, that actually isn't. That's personal choice. And he wasn't saying that because it's full of foreigners, I'm going to move somewhere else, because he's moving to a foreign land.
You keep moving your microphone. I can hear.
It's because you've broken my microphone. I'm having to use a handheld one.
Handheld one?
Can I just tell you something that's really interesting?
No.
To do with this subject?
Yeah, go on then.
Basically, all you people who voted for Brexit, right, who voted for England to leave the EU because of the fact that Britain was filled with foreigners, right, and you wanted us to close the borders so they all had to go home and they couldn't come back in. What have you read the news this week? And this is what Eric said before, I've said before, and a lot of other people have said before. Britain is now advertising all over the world for foreigners to come into Britain to take jobs, technical jobs, important jobs. Yeah, so you've kicked out, or you've potentially tried to kick out, other Europeans, and now they're being replaced from people from other parts of the world. What a silly thing to do.
Interactions going on again. Mark Ward says, I'm not 100% sure about all this foodie stuff, but it may have been Dr. Kellogg.
Nothing wrong with beans.
Who said that the breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Yeah, but you don't eat your dog for breakfast.
I have sausages.
That's sausage dogs.
Bacon.
I got my sausage dog joking.
Beef burgers.
Well, you have beef burgers for breakfast?
Yeah.
What's wrong with cold kebabs?
Mike, do you know the best breakfast I've ever had?
What?
It was in...
I'm going to have to top this, aren't I?
Oh, God, where was it?
Yeah, I could do it because you can't remember.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, no, that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
really? And it was one of these, like, not where the tourists went, it was a little local place. And what was it? I can't remember who it was. Anyway, the bellhop at the hotel told me where to go. We go over there. We had steak.
Yeah.
American-style steak, which is just enormous.
Yeah.
Steak, egg, bacon, potato thingy, croquette things, whatever you call them, chicken gravy, grits, orange juice, toast and coffee.
That's very nice.
It was lovely.
What I was going to say is, but you said it as well, unfortunately, the best thing I ever had wasn't in Nashville, it was in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Was grits for breakfast. I love grits. I don't know what they're made of.
They're a bit like semolina, aren't they?
Like semolina, but a bit gritty.
Well, that's probably why they're called grits. Anyways, I'm going to get these in because we're just about out of time. Dave qualified all that. The line breakfast is the most important meal of the day was invented in the 19th century by Seventh-day Adventists. That's the one. James Caleb Jackson and John Harvey Kellogg.
Right.
And they invented this to sell their newly invented breakfast cereal.
Well done. I love stuff like that. I think that's brilliant. Thanks for that, Dave.
Thank you, David. I like that sort of trivia. It's good trivia.
I don't think it's trivia. I think it's interesting facts.
Yes. Breakfast is so... Brexit's so bad, not breakfast. It's so bad that we're running out of DJs. They keep moving abroad. Oh, very droll. On that happy note, we better say goodbye.
All right, then. Bye-bye, then.
What about Sooty?
Oh, sorry. Here's Sooty come to say goodbye. It's not Sooty, anyway.
It's Sweep.
Harry Corbett.
It's Sweep.
It's not. It's Harry Corbett.
Sweep.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Of course, yes, that's Harry, isn't it? That's it, boys and girls, for another week. We'll be back again next week, same back channel, same place. Thank you to everybody. Lee's coughing in the background, marvellous. Now, it started me off, for goodness sakes. Yes, where was we? Steve's up next, as always. Thank you to everybody on the new services as well that we've added this week, especially, what was it, Periscope. Yeah, you seem to like us over there. Thank you very much indeed. Very kind of you. This is Radio Tatras International.
The station of the stars. RTI.
From the heart of Europe to the world, this is RTI.